Okay, here's the longitudinal view of the car. This is looking from the back forwards on the right hand side of the car. Here's the glass roof. Underneath that there is a layer of rubber. This is the metal roof, the exposed part. It then dips down, does another bend, dips down again and continues under there for a little way. And welded onto that metal there is this bracket. The clips for the roof bar are supposed to go down through here, this gap here, and then in underneath the bracket here. In two of the positions on my car, this space here is too narrow for the bracket to go through. And a cross view here. Again, this is looking across the car. This is the glass, the rubber underneath it, the frame of the car, and this is the what Tesla call the receiver. It's a metal saddle shaped thing. The clip itself, when it's installed correctly, sits in this area here, and it's slightly not as wide as the clip. When you put the clip in fact in the instructions say to move this about a bit to make sure that you've got it in the right place and it's not outside the clip. In two of the positions on my car the clip sits correctly. You can move it about, etc., and confirm that it's in the right place. On one position the clip is, I think, is in the right position under here, but it's been pushed through this gap here with such force that it's now locked solid. I can't move the clip at all. I suspect that the clip is actually in under the saddle, but it's jammed in solid in here and I can't move it at all. In the fourth position, that is on the front left, the clip doesn't go under the saddle here, it's in under this rubber. It sits in here. I can move the clip well in both directions a long way, and as I do I can see that it's deforming this rubber strip here. Now we'll go out and have a look at the car and I'll demonstrate it out there. So this is one of the clips that's mounted correctly underneath the retainer. You can see here that I can easily move it left and right, just within the limits of the retainer metal bracket underneath the roof. I can move it very slightly up and down. If I take a tape measure here, you can see if I measure the height of the screw piece from the metal from the glass roof, it's just on about 40 millimeters. One other thing, just note if I move this clip right to the left, I can take a bent paper clip, put it down underneath the rubber, and I can feel the inside of the metal retainer under the glass, and if I push it to the left I run into this curved metal clip. This to me demonstrates that this clip is all in the right place. There's this other one on the left rear of the vehicle. It is the same, it's mounted correctly. Now this is the second clip of interest. This one is on the right rear of the car. You'll see if I have a look at the height of this, it's equally about 40 millimeters. That suggests that it's down low enough to be underneath the bracket. However, I can't move it at all. No matter how much force I apply left and right, it will hardly move. If I put the paperclip down here, go underneath the rubber and try and get inside the metal bracket, which I am there now, I can feel the edge of the metal bracket and I can feel the edge of this clip. It's not going, in fact. Let me just try that again. Something something wrong here as well. This one's not. Let me just try the other side. See if I can get in underneath that metal retainer. I'm in under the metal retainer there. I can feel the end of it, and it looks like I'm running into this side of the metal clip. It's possible that this clip is too far to the right. I'll just check the arrows on the roof, and it appears to be in the right place. Now, one of the problems that I found here is that if I pull up the I might have trouble finding this with the camera, but if I pull up the rubber strip, when you look down through the gap here, you can actually see the metal retainer underneath the glass. We shouldn't be able to see that. That metal retainer should be back underneath the glass. On the other two that are installed correctly, you pull the rubber back, you can't see the metal retainer. So I'm not sure that this one is absolutely correct, but it does seem to be underneath the metal retainer. But it's immovable. One more thing I'm concerned about with this one on the right rear is that it's been put in with such force that it may have, or probably did, scratch the paintwork on the metal underneath the rubber here, and possibly the galvanised coating on this clip, and that may be a rust problem at some time in the future. Okay, this is the clip on the left front of the car. I'm sure that this mount clip is underneath the glass roof. It's not underneath the metal retainer underneath it. If we have a look at measure the height from the glass roof, you'll see that it's about 46 millimetres above the glass roof, which, and all of these clips are identical, so it suggests that this clip is sitting too high. If I try to put the paper clip in under the metal retainer, I can find the end of the metal retainer at this side, but I push the paper clip all the way underneath, which means that this metal clip is not underneath the retainer. I can do the same from the other side. Put the paper clip in this way, get it in underneath the metal retainer. Missed it. I can find this end of the metal retainer, but I can't. I can push the paper clip all the way to the other end. It's not being stopped by this clip, which should be stopping it from moving. The other thing is, if we pull out the paper clip, if I move this, it should only be able to move to the extent of the metal retainer underneath. But in fact, I can move it much further than that. And it takes quite a lot of force because it's actually on top of the metal retainer and underneath the glass roof. And I can actually slide it all the way out. If we again have a look, we pull the paper clip to pull the rubber back. First of all, you can see the edge of the metal retainer. You can also see here that the gap between the metal retainer and the bottom bend in the car here, that bottom bend there, that gap is much too small for this clip to go through. And you'll notice when I move this again that if you bring the camera around this side, you may notice that the rubber is distorting. It's because I'm reluctant to do this because it's going to break the glass, but you'll notice that it's distorting the rubber as I put pressure on there. I'm not prepared to put this clip back in. I'm going to leave it out now and take the others out because I'm worried that this is going to break the glass. Anyway, you can see from that this clip is definitely not underneath the metal retainer. There it is, under the rubber, under the glass. Now that I've taken all the clips out, I'll just have a look underneath the rubber and demonstrate what I've been talking about. This is the right front, one of them that is correct. If you have a look under here, pull the rubber back and look in there, you can't see the metal retainer under, because it's back underneath the glass. It's a millimetre or two back under the glass. And if you have a look down in the gap there, you'll see that there's quite a gap between this part of the roof here and where the metal retainer would be underneath the glass. We'll go back and have a look at the one on the right rear, and you can clearly see the retainer protruding beyond the glass. This is a position on the right rear of the car. If I pull the rubber back here, you can quite clearly see the metal retainer down there. It's protruding well beyond the glass. It should be back underneath the glass and we shouldn't be able to see it from here. If you have a look a bit more vertically, you'll see the gap between the metal part of the roof here and the retainer is very, very narrow. I can only just get the tip of this pry tool in between it. And this is the one where the Tesla technician has applied a great deal of force to get the metal clip to go in under the bracket. This metal retainer under the glass is clearly in the wrong position, and the same applies to the metal retainer under the glass on the left front position as well.